Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. You're like, David, is this going to be a Star Wars video? Did you trick us? Is this clickbait? Is this what they call clickbait? No. Just give me like 3 minutes and I will explain what this is. I want to talk about the most powerful weapon in both marketing, but also the James Bond franchise. And this is going to be a conversation about how indeed nostalgia is the most potent weapon in the armament of the 007 franchise. Yes, you would think it's all these other tropes and style and the literary aspect. Trust me, folks, it's nostalgia. And to prove it, I'm standing in front of a part of a collection that you probably don't normally see. You see, in and amongst my other hidden rooms, I have other parts of my collection, some of them from my childhood, like my Star Wars collection, like my $6 Million Man, like my Superman stuff, like my Indiana Jones. In fact, I'm holding a blaster that was from 1978, and this is not a reproduction, this is from 1978. I remember as a very young David going around when Star Wars first came out, and I was 9 years old when it came out, and getting this and running around the house in the backyard in the forest that butted up to our house, shooting stormtroopers in my mind. This is the sound it made. It sounds like a dentist drill. Ah! Ah! It's not. It's what was a sound effect, boys and girls, who are really pampered nowadays because you have these soundboards. No, this was the sound of a blaster. And though it has no real true authenticity to what the blasters sound like in the movie Star Wars, to this guy, it sounds like a blaster because I remember years of enjoyment running around with this blaster pretending to be Han Solo. Yeah, I was the guy that was Han Solo and not Luke. But I pick it up for a reason. I believe that nostalgia connects on 007 pieces that connect us to these type of items, to films, to film characters, to the franchise, and we desperately want to impart that. And I'm going to break it down, like I said, in 7 different areas. Now, before we do this, before we explore this, deep breath. This is going to be a bit of a journey. I want to talk about this because I've always been a collector, that collector's mentality of, getting a piece of the movie, owning a piece of a movie, a representation, even as a child, whether it's imaginative play or that capture moment, is something truly psychological. I get it. It's something that's innate in me. When I was building out my different parts of my collection and I take a look at all of these items and I know where they came from and the stories and, did I get them way back when? Which ones are from my childhood and which ones did I get now? What does Buck Rogers mean to me versus a Cylon and Battlestar Galactica? What type of input in Superman? What type of heroic triumphant feeling in Indiana Jones and Hoth and the new iterations of all these things, and then Marvel, whatever my collection connects on, it comes back to one word, and that is nostalgia. So let's start with number 1. Nostalgia is about an emotional connection. So when I think about, for example, Indiana Jones, I remember my first experience with Indiana Jones. Nostalgia taps into these positive memories and emotions from the past. These emotions are often deeply ingrained and can create an instant connection between both consumer and brand. And by the way, when people recall happy memories, they associate those feelings with a product. So let's start with number 1, and that is emotional connection, because that gets to the whole psychology of it, right? Now, think about some of these items that you're seeing. Nostalgia, when you see these, probably for you also taps into these positive memories and emotions from the past. And by the way, these emotions, they're deeply ingrained and they create something of an instant connection between both you and the brand. Or think about it, maybe your parents and the consumer. And when people recall happy memories. They associate those feelings with a product or a brand or a character like James Bond or Han Solo. And that connection becomes automatic. It's Pavlovian. You know, it's that whole Pavlov dog of like, you smell something, you start to salivate. That's what we do. We start to salivate. Number 2, and this one is really important when you think about safety. Now, trust and comfort is number 2. Nostalgic marketing can foster a sense of trust and comfort. So, for example, familiar brands or characters or franchises from one's past can evoke a sense of reliability and stability, which can be particularly appealing in uncertain times. Think of your situation. I'll think of mine as an example. I've got a tough job. You have a tough job, right? I don't have a monopoly on tough, stressful jobs. But when I have a stressful moment, I can, like a ship in a bottle, like some of you work on a puzzle or create content, I will do one of my videos, or maybe I'll work on something in my collection room, and it's relaxing because of this reliability, this comfort level. It's like a warm blanket, a whoopee in the dark when you're stressed out. And that brings us to number 3. Number 3 is differentiation in a saturated market. So in a marketplace crowded with new products and innovations, nostalgia can help brand stand out. By leveraging familiar themes, images, references, brands can cut through the noise and capture attention. Think of this. Everybody's trying to be the new kid on the block or the most innovative or the highest technology. For many of us, that turns into noise. That turns into clutter. It's bombastic. It's too much input. How do we quiet it down? We go back to something very familiar, something very nostalgic. And that cascades to number 4. And this is one that I've talked about a lot in my podcasts, some in my videos, and it's, I think, the hope of the future of connecting the Bond franchise to different age groups. It's this whole idea of cross-generational appeal. Now, this has worked with Star Wars. Heck, it worked with Barbie, it worked with Marvel. This whole idea that nostalgic marketing can appeal to multiple generations simultaneously. It doesn't happen one at a time. For example, a product that was popular in the 80s or 90s might resonate with those who experienced it firsthand, as well as their younger generations who enjoy, by the way, Stranger Things TV show, retro. This whole idea of going back retro. How is a lot of that introduced? It's introduced through dad and mom and siblings and uncles and aunts and whoever you are. I don't care the title of your relationship. You introduce that. And I've told this to people. I said, look, the best thing that you can do in the world of Bond from a nostalgia standpoint is sit down with the younger generation, maybe who has a misconception of James Bond, and show them a film. And by the way, be a sommelier. Be a James Bond sommelier. Don't say, I'm going to show you my favorite film. Fine if you want to do that, but what do they want to watch? And I don't mean subject matter. I mean, what are they in the mood for? Are they in the mood for something campy, goofy, fun, laughter? We got that. Are they in the mood for something hard, action-oriented and rough and tumble? Oh, we got that. Or what about something classic Hollywood, you know, with great themes and visuals and sweeping music? We got that. So again, this cross-generational thing is just so amazing. And so is number 5. Nostalgia encourages word of mouth. Think about this. Nostalgia often encourages sharing. People love to talk about their favorite past experiences. So a nostalgia campaign can lead to this, what I call organic discussions, both online and offline. And it acts, what's the best way to put this? Not like an amplification. That's probably the best word. It amplifies the reach of all the marketing efforts. What I'm doing right now, or when I do reviews or talk about something from the past, it amplifies the effort. And maybe you'll pick up some vernacular, or you'll talk to somebody else about that very same thing. It encourages word of mouth because people share the passion. And what happens when you want to share the passion? Guess what? You want to share the passion with others. It's all part of this community aspect. All right? Leads a path straight to number 6. Nostalgia can boost brand loyalty. And why is that? Well, we get very protective of our past, the things that we're passionate about, the things that we believe in. And nostalgia actually helps to remind us as consumers these positive experiences from the past, but then that brand or any brand can then foster a sense of loyalty to that. When people feel this personal connection to a brand based on their own history, they're more likely to remain loyal. Again, it's a part of marketing psychology, and the brands know that. The brands know how to suss out all those nostalgic moments to make sure that they connect. And by the way, because we're being very transparent here, we're friends, right? I said right. One of the things that brand loyalty can do is when we are not connected or not recognizing the correct nostalgic tropes and effort in something, what do? Like piranha or rats. We get rid of it. We remove it. We don't accept it. And that happens too. But, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are at number 7, number 007 in the world of nostalgia being the greatest weapon. In the world of marketing, here we go. Okay. Nostalgia, simply put, creates a sense of identity. Now, many of you on this one are going to push away and go, I create my sense of identity. Me, this is me. I get it. But I'm gonna debate that a little bit because we are the sum of our parts. If you were born and you were kept in this test tube and you woke up, or someone woke you up when you were 50 years old, you'd be mush. You wouldn't be anything. So we are the result of our experiences, living like Bond one moment at a time. So therefore, our passion, our love, our nostalgic connection for Bond is a sum of all the parts of these experiences and these moments. And we build an identity around that. I probably like brands and sartorial stuff and, Star Wars as well because of the sum of my nostalgic moments that help to form my identity. I know for a fact when I'm doing business and I'm talking to people or, I say to people, I've lost my embarrassment gene. I can go up in front of a lot of people and talk to them. A lot of that is learning from Bond to be cool and calm and collected and drink those things in. That is from my collected nostalgic experiences. And it's why I drive so much passion to nostalgia. We are a sum of these parts. And when you're a nostalgic being, or you're connected by the sense of community of one franchise like James Bond, it does drive you. It does influence you. It does connect you. It just does. Okay, so this wouldn't be one of these videos without a conclusion. I've set up my debate. I hope you kind of get a sense of why I feel so strongly that nostalgia is this nuclear blast of connection in the Bond franchise, and therefore, by the way, can weave and connect us for the next generation, as well as new movies, as well as marketing. And why is that? Well, first of all, we know nostalgia works because it connects emotionally, it builds trust, it stands out, it appeals across generations, it encourages sharing, it boosts loyalty, it reinforces identity. And here's the thing too, when used thoughtfully, it creates very powerful, connected, and emotional messages. That's the power of nostalgia. You thought it was going to be something else. You thought I was going to be talking about a caliber of a gun or maybe a bazooka. You sure as heck didn't think I'd be standing in front of a Star Wars exhibit with a May the 4th be with you. But here I am with my Han Solo pistol. But for good measure, I'm also wearing my Tomorrow Never Dies. Who said you can't combine nostalgia and passion? Meh. So anyway, I'll leave you to it. Consider this little philosophical moment. This has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience and a little bit of Star Wars. We'll talk to you real soon. Take care. I got a cavity. Oh, that's delightful. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.